This is not how graduation day was supposed to end. For Maya, the crisp black gown and the proud cap waiting in her car might as well be a million miles away. Right now. The only reality is the coarse bite of the rope around her wrists, the metallic taste of fear in her mouth, and the three figures looming over her. If you've ever felt the sting of being an outsider, if you've ever been pushed into a corner and wished for someone, anyone, to see your pain, then you need to hear Maya's story. It's a story about the masks we wear, the scars we hide, and the moment the quietest person in the room becomes the most powerful. Stay with me, because this journey is about to take a turn you will never see coming. And while you're here, if you connect with stories of the underdog fighting back, make sure to subscribe and join our community. What happens next, you won't want to miss it. Maya had always been a ghost in the bustling hallways of Northwood University, not by choice but by design. While her peers navigated the turbulent waters of frat parties, football games, and social alliances, she moved through the corridors like a whisper, her head perpetually bent over a sketchbook, her world a private constellation of lines, shadows, and imagined landscapes. Her father, a man whose life was a symphony of important calls and hushed, powerful conversations, had taught her one crucial lesson from a young age. The world is a stage, Maya, but the most powerful people are rarely the ones in the spotlight. They are the ones who own the theater. She never fully understood what he meant. To her, it sounded like another way of saying stay quiet, stay out of the way. Our family requires a certain discretion. Her refuge was the art studio, a cavernous room perpetually smelling of turpentine and clay. Here, surrounded by the silent, judging gazes of marble busts and half-finished canvases, she was real. Her hands, so often clumsy and hesitant in social situations, became instruments of grace, translating the storm of emotions inside her into breathtakingly detailed portraits. She painted eyes that held entire lifetimes of stories, hands that spoke of labor and love, faces etched with the maps of their experiences. It was in this sanctuary that she crossed paths with Chloe. Chloe was everything Maya was not: effervescent, popular, the kind of girl who seemed to trail glitter and confidence wherever she went. Drawn to Maya's quiet talent, Chloe had begged her for a senior portrait, something deep and real, not like those basic photos everyone else gets. For weeks, Maya poured her soul into the project, capturing not just Chloe's beauty, but a surprising vulnerability in her eyes that Chloe herself never showed the world. The finished painting was a masterpiece. Chloe was ecstatic. She promised to pay Maya a significant sum that would fund a summer art program in Italy, a dream Maya had held since she was a child. But graduation day arrived and the payment never came. Texts went unanswered. When Maya, her heart a frantic drum against her ribs, finally approached Chloe near the bustling graduation stage, the response was a public evisceration. "Oh my God, are you still harping on that?" Chloe laughed, a sound like shattering glass, surrounded by her court of varsity athletes. "It was a favor, sweetie. I was letting you practice. You should be thanking me." The humiliation was a physical blow, hotter and sharper than any insult. Maya, her voice a trembling thread, stammered, "You promised the Italy program." That's when Jake, the star golfer and Chloe's off-again boyfriend, stepped in. He was the archetype of privileged arrogance, his Letterman jacket a blue and yellow banner of his perceived invincibility. "The art program," he sneered, his voice dripping with condescension. "What for? So you can learn to draw better, losers." The laughter that erupted from the group was a wall of sound, sealing Maya inside a tomb of her own shame. She fled, the dream of Italy crumbling to dust at her feet. The official graduation ceremony was a blur of pomp and circumstance, a stark contrast to the storm raging inside her. The proud swell of orchestra music, the sea of black gowns under the bright sun, the beige brick of the administration building standing as a silent witness. It all felt like a cruel parody. She sat through the speeches, the endless calling of names, the thunderous applause for futures that seemed so assured, while hers felt like it had been canceled before it even began. Her father, seated in the VIP section, had given her a small, proud nod when she crossed the stage to receive her empty diploma cover. He was a man of imposing stillness, his face a carefully composed mask that gave nothing away. He had flown in last night, a whirlwind of importance, and would be leaving again tomorrow. Their relationship was a series of brief, intense reunions sandwiched between long stretches of silence. He loved her, she knew, in his own abstract, distant way, but he was a fortress, and she had never learned how to scale the walls. As the ceremony concluded and the crowd began to disperse into a chaotic, joyful mess of hugs and photographs, Maya slipped away. She couldn't face the forced merriment, the hollow congratulations from people who had never known her name. She made her way to the back of the main building, towards the old theater storage shed, a place she had discovered during her first year. It was her true secret haven, a place filled with the ghosts of past productions, discarded props, faded velvet curtains, and the faint, sweet smell of dust and forgotten dreams. She just needed a moment to breathe, to let the hot, silent tears fall where no one could see them. She pushed the heavy door open and stepped into the cool, dim silence. But her sanctuary had been violated. Before she could even process the intrusion, a strong hand clamped over her mouth from behind, stifling her gasp. She was dragged deeper into the shadows. The door slammed shut, and the lock clicked with a sound of terrifying finality. Jake, Chloe, and their friend Mark, a hulking football player, emerged from behind a rack of old costumes. "Look what we have here," Jake said, his voice a low menacing purr. The little artist, hiding away to cry. Chloe's face was a mask of cold amusement. "We saw you skulking away. Couldn't handle the real world, huh?" Panic, cold and sharp, shot through Maya's veins. She tried to back away, but Mark grabbed her, his grip like iron, and forced her into a rickety wooden chair. Jake produced a coil of rough, thick rope, the kind used to tie back the heavy stage curtains. "Let me go, please," Maya begged, her voice cracking with terror. The struggle was brief and hopeless. Mark held her down while Jake bound her wrists to the arms of the chair, his knots tight and practiced. The coarse fibers bit into her skin. A final loop was thrown around her torso, pinning her against the hard wooden back. She was trapped. "This is for embarrassing Chloe," Jake snarled, and before she could flinch, his open hand connected with her face. The slap was explosive, a bright white star of pain that blossomed across her cheek. Her head snapped to the side, and for a moment, the world swam in a nauseating whirl of color and shadow. The metallic taste of blood filled her mouth where her teeth had cut the inside of her cheek. Tears, now of pure, unadulterated fear, streamed down her face, mingling with the blood. Chloe stepped forward, her heels clicking on the concrete floor. She leaned in, her pretty face twisted into a grotesque smirk. "You thought you could just accuse me of being a liar in front of everyone. You, a nobody." She reached into her gown pocket and pulled out a pair of heavy-duty fabric shears, the blades long and sharp. "You're so proud of your artist's hands," she mused, tapping the cold steel against Maya's knuckles. Maya flinched, a sob catching in her throat. "Maybe you don't need them." The threat hung in the air, cold and serious. This was no longer a prank, it was a premeditated act of cruelty. Jake, meanwhile, had found an old 9-iron golf club leaning against a wall, a relic from some long-ago comedic play. He tested its weight in his hands, swinging it casually, the whoosh of it cutting through the air just inches